Hello and welcome back to the Vinyl Brotherhood. We recently had the opportunity to visit Japan. If you follow the channel or our Instagram pretty closely, you might have noticed that I enjoy quite a bit of Japanese music, so my friends and I couldn't pass up a chance to visit some of Tokyo's iconic music stores and pick up some LPs that aren't so readily available in the US. We worked a few different places into our plans, and I had my own short list of albums that I was going to look for. The first place we came across was Shinjuku's Disc Union. This specific store has 8 floors, basement included, and each floor is dedicated to a genre or subgenre of music. I remember there being a whole floor of prog rock to the delight of producer Ian, and I spent some time on their classic rock floor as well as their top floor where they keep their punk and hardcore. But I definitely spent the majority of my time digging around in the basement floor where they keep their Japanese pop and rock. In the end, I didn't end up making any purchases though, deciding to wait until we visited some of the stores that we had planned for the next day. However, I was tempted by some of their video game and anime selections like Nintendo's Mother 2 soundtrack. I also passed on a used vinyl record by the band Homecomings, a current indie rock group from Kyoto that I've been listening to. And I'm regretting my decision, but the price point was a little steep for me, and no surprise there since there isn't a ton of Homecomings vinyl out there. The next day, we headed to Shibuya, home to many excellent establishments. On the 6th floor of Shibuya's Magnet building, across from the One Piece store, we stumbled across a place called Recco Fan. They opened up their store in this building back in December 2022 after having closed their old location due to COVID-19. They had a very impressive selection of used records, and I was delighted to find some bona fide pop classics that I haven't been able to find here in the States. I even came across this version of the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds that I'd never seen before. It was well over $100. While artists from around the world are organized alphabetically, the Japanese selections of this and all of the other stores we visited are organized by the sound of the respective kana, so phonetically. When it came to hunting down my favorite artist, this presented a bit of a challenge to a beginner in the language such as myself, but I'll be prepared for the next time. From there, we visited the legendary Tower Records store, a place I recognized from being featured in countless video games and anime. You can't miss it with the massive sign at the front reading "No Music, No Life." Tower Records is a beautiful store, by the way. As a graphic designer, it was basically a dream come true for me. The branding and the whole visual aesthetic really pops with its bold typographical choices and the red and yellow palette thoughtfully used everywhere you look. This place is massive. Like Disc Union, every floor is dedicated to something different. There's even a cafe, a gallery space, and a venue. So after gushing at the ground floor new releases section, we headed on up to the vinyl on the 6th floor. My friend was looking for an album, any album really, by the band Lamp, a fantastic group, although their albums on vinyl are quite difficult to come across. It was nice, however, to see an in-store end cap completely dedicated to Lamp CDs. If I recall correctly, he and his wife came away with the soundtrack for Hayao Miyazaki's classic film Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, as well as Keiichi Sokabe's self-titled solo album. I picked up the classic city pop album by Taiko Inuki, Sun Shower, and while I wasn't expecting to, I even found the 2 albums by a band called the Pen Friend Club that I was needing to complete my collection of their studio albums. They're a smaller band, so I was both surprised and delighted to find them in my search, and I feel just wonderful thinking about all the money I saved on shipping right then and there. The fine folks at Tower even gave me this neat little keepsake with my purchase, a miniature LP and a sleeve and everything. No, it's not a functional record, but it's pretty cool and I know just where to display it. That evening, we moved on to Union Record, the Disc Union predecessor inside of Shibuya's Parco building. It's a cozy little place, but they have a solid selection, and I love their storefront, which exclusively features food-related album covers for a reason unknown to myself. I picked up my own copy of Keiichi Sokabe's self-titled, an excellent record, and a 7-inch single by Gaide titled Leave It Shining a Light. Great stuff. Lastly, we stopped by Shibuya's HMV record shop. One of the first things I noticed was an entire wall displaying copies of Taiko Inuki's Sun Shower, which I found funny since I thought I had lucked out when I came across mine over at Tower. By then, our day was winding down, so I didn't have as much time to look around as I would have liked, but it warmed my heart to see displays for the likes of Haruomi Hosono, Yellow Magic Orchestra, and even a whole section devoted to vinyl for the show Neon Genesis Evangelion. While at HMV, I also picked up a really interesting book on city pop presented by Night Tempo, an internet dude that you might know from his many remixes of 80s and 90s Japanese city pop. In the book, he covers 100 of the genre's greatest hits, and I'm pretty pumped to look into some of the songs I have not yet listened to. We found a couple of other places during our time in Japan, but I had to sort of restrain myself as I was running out of room in my suitcase. I guess I'll just have to go back sometime, I don't know. But truly, we had an amazing and unforgettable time in this beautiful country, and as a musician and music listener, being in those iconic locales and holding some of those classic records in my hands was a really special experience. Maybe you'll find yourself in Japan sometime, that is if you haven't been yet, and when and if you do, hopefully you come into contact with some incredible music. I know it's sort of cheesy or saccharine to say, but it truly does amaze me how good music can transcend cultures and bring all kinds of people together. Thanks for watching and joining us on our adventure for a few minutes. We'll be back with more soon, right here at the Vinyl Brotherhood.